What's up? Another episode of I'd Rather Be Wrestling because I can't stress enough. I'd rather be wrestling right now. This is like I was watching Jake St. Patrick's his highlight video, and it just really stressed me out how I haven't done a drop kick in years. Like even during training, we weren't doing drop kicks yet. But it's like I know that I still got it as far as drop kicks are concerned. I remember like when I was younger, I was trying to do the drop salt because Paul London did it and stuff like that, and it just really kind of bummed me out that I gotta get back in there, man. I got to. I'm starting to. I'm not. I'm not. I'm starting to get the itch, but not that bad of an itch yet. But it's getting pretty bad. Um, I don't like dirt sheets. I just don't. I don't think that I don't like dirt sheets. I don't like reporters. I don't like the idea of wrestling news. I don't like these sort of things because I feel like they're just ridiculous fan takes disguised as we think this is going to happen in wrestling company A, right? And it's just like, and it's ridiculous fan takes. Like, we think this is going to happen because this is happening and this should happen and this. It's like, it comes off, some of it comes off as legitimate news. You know what I mean? But the legitimate news is obvious stuff if you actually either already follow the company or watch the show. Like, like for example, news could be Cody Rhodes wins the Royal Rumble. That's not news. If you watch WWE, you already know this because they brought it up on the show. And they have the event on Peacock for you to watch. All this other stuff. Like, it's like, that's not news. You know what I mean? But then there's these fantasy bookers, these wild fan takes, and all this other stuff. And it's just like, it's basically a whole bunch of people. There's a difference between people who are announcing the news and basically saying something that's already happened and just sort of rehashing the obvious. And then there's people who, in my opinion, are using professional wrestling as a means to get themselves recognized. It's basically they're trying to make wrestling about them. And those are the people that I can't stand because it's like, why should we care about you? I mean, are you? It's like, and it feels like another thing too is that like it's kind of annoying to me because like they're not doing anything to even get involved in wrestling outside of just talking about it on the outside, and that's fine. In my opinion, that's fine. It's like if you're a professional wrestling fan, by all means, talk your smack, but don't try to present it as a true thing or like something that's relevant because you're just a fan with a take. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that's something that really stresses me out because like other fans follow these fans with their crazy takes, and it's like, no, what this guy's saying is gospel, bro. You need to, you need to join this church, bro. And I'm like, I don't want to, and it becomes, the reviews turn into wrestling news, which in my opinion, you combine these two things together, and to me, they just become dirt sheets. And I'm not trying to follow somebody who's not trying to get involved in wrestling. That's my thing. It's like, if you like wrestling that much to talk about it that often, then at some point, you gotta at least, I don't know, be a commentator or something. Wrestle for a company. Like it's like my biggest issue when it comes to wrestling fans in general is that they can tell you, or just fans in general, just not even wrestling. I'm speaking out of the medium now. Is that like they can always tell you everything that's wrong with a product, but they can't create a better product. You know what I mean? It's like they can tell you everything that's wrong with what you're doing, but while they're not doing anything. You know what I mean? And they have every excuse as to why they shouldn't have to. But it's like, if you're going to tell me everything that's what I'm doing is wrong, then it's like, it's weird that somebody who could spot the imperfections of everything can't create the perfect product. You know what I mean? And won't even bother trying. You know what I mean? And that's my whole thing. It's like, they're like, I will say without a shadow of a doubt, there's a handful of wrestlers that I'm not a fan of. There's a lot of wrestlers that I'm not a fan of, and it has nothing to do with their wrestling ability. And the reason why I specify that is because, like, I know for a fact that whatever it is that they're doing, there's a great chance that I either do incorrectly or can't do it all. Like, I'm not a big fan of Brock Lesnar, but Brock Lesnar could do a shooting star press. I can't. Off the top, anyway. Not yet. You see what I'm saying? I'm just saying, it's just like, and I just don't like how a lot of these dirt sheets come off as like just wild fan takes disguised as wrestling news, because it's like they end up saying stuff like, like, this thing can happen, this thing could happen, this thing should happen. It's like, stop. You know what I mean? Either something is happening or it isn't. Another thing I don't like about dirt sheets is that, like, they don't necessarily have like a lot of, like, they have all of this influence and power and people care about them, but the dirt sheets themselves never cover, like, they never use that power for good. You know what I mean? Like, there's a whole bunch of wrestling schools out there that these dirt sheets could cover. There's a whole bunch of wrestling companies out there that these dirt sheets could cover. And instead, they're giving you lies, misinformation, or just half-truths about WWE, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, or any other wide, big company. Like, if I had the influence to, convince a whole bunch of people that my stupid fan take is a good thing, I'll be talking about indie wrestling companies non-stop. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be talking about them until you get glossed over with boredom. I'm just saying, because, like, there's a difference between being a wrestling fan and being just a fan of big companies. Because, like, one of the big reasons why I personally like professional wrestling is because I like watching the matches. I like being able to see the wrestling and just, like, see the ring, like, just be able to just watch as a fan of a wrestling match. And when that wrestler is like when both wrestlers are on the ground and you're just like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like you're trying to get them both up at the same time. Like, you see one guy get one hit, you're like, yeah. You hear the other person go, yeah. I love that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I love watching wrestling matches. You know what I mean? And, this is weird thing that's going on. I probably might talk about it later, but this is weird thing that fans do where they say, being good at wrestling just doesn't cut it anymore. You need a character, which is like, so you watch wrestling for not wrestling. Why are you here? You know what I'm saying? So it's just stuff like that just bothers me, disturbs me, confuses me, and all this other stuff. But I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm just old fashioned. But like I said, I don't really care that much. Like, don't give me the did you hear who's going to, no, just let me wait for the thing to happen. Like, I'm not trying to, it's not that I don't like being spoiled. It's just that, like, let me see the thing. Like, let me be surprised. I like watching the show as it happened. I'm not trying to predict the show a few years into the future. Like, right now people are trying to predict that The Rock is going to be at WrestleMania. Like, do y'all really want to see The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? Do y'all really want to see The Rock again? Did you all not see him against John Cena and kind of how he was doing then? Y'all want to see that again? I'm not saying he didn't do a good job, but the dude was clearly tired sometimes. You could tell. No lie, I love Booker T to death. I think the man is a genius. I think Booker T is doing the right thing for professional wrestling as a person in its entirety. But would I ever want to see Booker T wrestle again? That depends on if he wants to do it. That's not my call. That's his call. And also, I remember one time I'm on my Facebook page. I post up a picture of Booker T and somebody is like, Booker T is going to be wrestling in WWE again very soon. It's like, don't do that. Like don't use my page for your stupid little fan rumor, dirt sheet, try, attempt, or whatever. Don't do that. That's dumb. But yeah, though, there's yeah, man, it's just like, I don't like dirt sheets. I don't like dirt sheets. I don't like fan takes. I don't like the idea that wrestling fans are trying to sort of like press up against a glass of this invisible back door that they get to professional wrestling that is, social media and stuff like that. Because, like if you try that crap with me, I'm going to shut you down every time. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna do any fan rumors with me, and I'm just gonna be like, oh wow, really? I'm not gonna entertain that foolishness. You're gonna get the block, kinda something. I don't know where I was going with this. I'm just really, really bummed out that I'm not wrestling already. Like, I just got a message from my homeboy from my earlier videos, and he is basically like saying, we need to wrestle again. And I'm like, I know. I just want to get trained first. I want to get the training out the way, so that way I can get some notoriety. I want to be able to say, hey, Booker T thinks I'm a good wrestler, so how's about you guys put me in your company? Say, Booker T don't say that, and I just do a little video. I'm Booker T, and I said this guy's a good wrestler. Now put him in. That's just you and a beard. Shut up. But yeah, though. That was it. I'm rambling. Love and peace. Y'all have a good one.